Edmund Kemper, aka the co-ed killer, was born on December 18, 1948 in California. He suffered constant emotional abuse from his mother, who belittled him and reinforced feelings of resentment and anger. As Kemper grew old, his disturbing fantasies and fixation on death intensified. In '64, at the age of 15, he murdered both his grandparents. Kemper was sentenced to a max security mental institution for the criminally insane. At age 21, he convinced the parole board of his rehabilitation and was set free. Between May 72 and April 73, Kemper killed 8 more people, all women. The first 6, he would pick up hitchhiking students and take them to isolated areas where he would shoot, stab, or strangle them. He would then take their bodies back to his home, where he decapitated them, performed necrophilia, and then dismember them. Kemper has stated in interviews that he would search for victims after having arguments with his mother. His last 2 murders would be his own mother, which he decapitated and humiliated the head till he finally bashed it in, and then his mother's friend. He turned himself in, confessing all his crimes. During his trial, Kemper was deemed legally sane and was convicted of 8 counts of first-degree murder. He requested death penalty, but was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Herbert Mullin was born on April 18, 1947 in California. His childhood was marked by tragic events, including the accidental death of his younger brother and a car accident that killed his friend one summer. Mullin became obsessed with reincarnation as well as dark and apocalyptic ideas, often discussing his visions of an impending catastrophe. During his teenage years, Mullin's mental health deteriorated further, experiencing hallucinations. These delusions intensified as he grew older, leading him to seek solace in drugs like LSD. In '72, he believed that by sacrificing innocent lives, he could prevent a huge earthquake that was imminent. Driven by his delusions, Mullin embarked on a terrifying killing spree. Over just 4 months, Mullin took the lives of 13 innocent people, including a vagrant, a priest, and even 4 teenagers camped out in the woods. His victims were chosen randomly, often in a haphazard and senseless manner. Mullin's spree of violence came to an end when he was apprehended in February 1973. He openly confessed to his murders, displaying a disturbing lack of remorse. The jury rejected his insanity defense and found him guilty of multiple counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life without parole. Mullin died on August 18, 2022 at age 75. Jerry Brudos, aka the Lust Killer, also known as the Shoe Fetish Slayer, was born on January 31st, 1939 in South Dakota. His mother subjected him to emotional and physical abuse as she wanted a girl and not a second son. He had a fetish for women's shoes since the age of 5. As a teen, Jerry began to stalk local women, knocking them down, choking them unconscious, and fleeing with their shoes. He even abducted one at age 17. While serving time for that, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Between 1968 and 1969, Jerry bludgeoned and strangled 4 young women. First was a saleswoman, whom he lured to the basement while his wife and kids were in the house. He strangled her to death, modeled her in stolen clothes, and even sawed off her left foot so he could continue to take pics of it in different shoes. The other 3 were also abducted and strangled, sometimes wearing women's clothes himself. He would perform necrophilia, and once finished with the bodies, he would tie them to a car part and toss them in the Willamette River. Jerry would wear high heels and masturbate after committing each murder. In May 1969, a fisherman found some of the bodies. Police got a description from some students at a nearby university. At his garage, police found copper wire that was cut with the same tool that cut the cords used to tie the bodies. Jerry was arrested and made a full confession. On June 28, 1969, Jerry was sentenced to 3 life terms.